It's 9 o'clock. It's Saturday morning. That can only mean one thing. Yay, yay, yay. It's time for the Monster Magic Saturday show. Let's do this.
Wake up, it's a beautiful morning. Feel the sun shining for your eyes.
Woo, 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 woo. Good morning, people. Oh, it's good to be back. I've missed you. It feels like it's been a really long week. But at last, it's time for me to get back on the sofa and to tell you all about the new stuff that has arrived at Monster Magic. Now, one thing that hasn't arrived is, of course, Dext, the trick that everybody has been talking about on Monday and is slowly petering down. The reason I haven't got it in stock is nothing to do with the quality of the product. I am sure it is a super duper index to rival any of the others that are out there. I just didn't really like the whole fanfare and marketing around it, and the sense of missing out that was given to the magic community, that people were leaping on it even without really thinking or knowing exactly what it was. And I don't think that that is a good thing for magic. You know, we are being marketed to the entire time, and you just need to accept that. And this fear of missing out with shops and everything else putting limited quantities, strictly limited quantities, really creating a sense of urgency. I didn't really like that. And I think people should calm down a little bit and wait. If it's a good trick, it will be available again in a couple of months' time, maybe even just a couple of weeks' time. And there's no trick that is a need or a must have. So I didn't really like all the fanfare, and I am happy to have been out of it. And I'm sure I will have Dext in probably in a month or so, and I will review it then, and with a nice cool calm head you can decide whether or not it's worth purchasing. So what have I got to talk about? Yes, well, first up this week is Carson's Drink by Juan Pablo. This is a take really on the classic zombie ball, which was from the 1940s. I think it was Joe Carson, if I seem to remember rightly, was probably the first person to ever sort of publish it or popularise it back in the 1940s. The method for this is very, very similar to the zombie ball. The difference is, instead of using one of those funny glitter ball type objects, you use a glass. You can sort of walk around. It's more of a, it could be done close up, could be done parlour. You take a standard glass. It's got to be a stemmed glass. Doesn't necessarily have to be a champagne flute, could be a wine glass, but the stem can't be too thick. And you take the glass, you take a silk handkerchief or a cotton handkerchief, any opaque handkerchief, and you manage to lift the glass, float the glass, make the glass move around and do various shenanigans with it. And then if you're bold enough, you can have a spectator pick it up, or you can just lay it back down on the table. I really, really like the idea of this. It feels far more organic than using one of those glitter balls like I mentioned in the classic way. And the gimmick is slightly different to the standard zombie gimmick because it's more for a close-up effect or a parlour effect. You can come on with the silk folded up, because the actual gimmick that you normally use on a zombie ball is very stiff and hard and probably long. It's usually about sort of 8 to 12 inches long. But this one sort of expands if I could, without giving away too much. And that's really good. It is 3D printed rather than injection molded, which kind of gives me slight worries over the strength of it, but you're not really lifting anything too heavy. So it's more just taking care of it when you're traveling and when you're packing it away so that it doesn't get crushed in any way, shape or form. The routine that comes with it, the tutorial is by Juan Pablo. It's just sort of him, I'm assuming, in his front room, and it's got a lot of angles to it. It's all very clear exactly how he does it. It's silent, so he's not speaking, and there is this sort of very irritating music on repeat. So I'd watch it with the sound down. I say multiple angles, it's actually him just turning around and showing it all. And he runs through the routine and each step of the routine several times, often just sort of revealing exactly how it's being done, and then goes through it. I'm not sure his routine is that good. It's one of his routines is one of those things where it feels like he's running away the entire time. He's just trying to prove that it's not being done how it is being done. When I learnt the zombie ball, I used to do it with a little balloon animal actually, and I watched Tim Wright's zombie ball DVD. I think it's Tim Wright's, and that is brilliant. And what he does is he makes the ball, in which case you'll be doing it with a glass, feel like it's got a life of its own, feel like it's been a bit cheeky, it's getting away from you, it's hiding from you. And in that way, you're doing all of the sort of justification moves, but you're doing it in a sense that you're being sort of dragged around. And it's a very good routine. It's a very good method. I do implore you, if you get this, to check out that DVD for some nice moves and some nice ideas. It is angly, of course, which is why traditionally it's a stage effect. So if you're going to be doing this a walk around or a cocktail party, say, people behind you will be able to see pretty much what's going on at various moves and various stages and phases of the effect. So you probably want to do it with your back against the wall if you've got a chance to do it there. Otherwise, you know, you're limited really. Parlour wise, it's absolutely great as long as no one's behind you, obviously. I really like the gimmick sort of collapses, so you can sort of fold the cloth away and put it back in your pocket, take it out of your pocket obviously as well to start, so it feels very, very clean. It's a great little trick. It is $55.99, which is a bit toppy for what you get. The gimmick also comes with a little sort of adjustment thing, so if you've got particularly thin fingers, that'll work fine, or perhaps you wanted to use your little finger rather than your middle finger. It'll fit you. It is a nice trick. Like I say, the zombie ball has been around since the 1940s. It's not going away anywhere soon. It's nice to have a fresh take on it. And I would really recommend it, probably for parlour. I'm not entirely sure I would do it walk around for the angles that I mentioned. This is Carson's Drink by Juan Pablo. And now we've got another take on a classic. This is Andalusian Challenge by Elias de Sastre. I'm guessing there was a cyclist called Sastre, a great Spanish cyclist, so I'm assuming I've got the surname right. This is the take on the charming Chinese challenge that was popularised by Troy Hooser many moons ago. And it's 3 Chinese coins that you thread onto a ribbon, and one by one they melt through the ribbon and fall into usually your participants' hands. This goes on to have other phases as well. Unlike the Chinese Charming Challenge, this is done with just 3 coins and the ribbon. There's no gimmicks, there's no extra coins. It is just sleight of hand and some very deceptive moves. It is a really good routine. It builds, it plays, it has lots of surprises, it uses the participants' hands so they feel like the magic is really happening in their hands. It's visually terrific, and it isn't that hard, and it uses, to the most point, some traditional moves. Let me show you the props, because the props are great too. You get these coins, which Elias talks about exactly why they're these coins. As unusually for a charming Chinese challenge, these are Japanese coins, but I'm guessing they were made in China anyway. And he talks about why these are particularly nice, to do with that, you know, to do with the holes, make the ribbon slide through nicely and make the effect that little bit easier to perform. And the sleights involved in this aren't difficult at all. If you're familiar with Ringleader by Gregory Wilson or anyone else's ring on string routines, you'll get an idea of what goes on towards the end. So this starts off with these 3 coins on a ribbon. The ribbon is just standard ribbon, 6mm ribbon that you can get in any haberdashery if you like. And these coins are perfect for the trick. But the trick starts off with the 3 coins. You thread the 3 coins onto the ribbon and then 2 melt off into participants' hands. And that's the charming Chinese challenge bit over and done with, really. From then on, it drifts off more into the classic ring on string, ring on shoelace effect with those types of move. So if you're familiar with, like I say, Ringleader by Gregory Wilson is probably the biggest, most comprehensive resource on it. I know Nick Einhorn on his Ring Flight, Pro Flight product has a tutorial on it as well, which is brilliant. I love watching Nick's routine. He is very, very good at it and is a very good teacher as well. And that is half of the trick, really, is those moves. It's very, very deceptive. The threading on the first phase of the 3 coins onto the ribbon looks brilliant and is very, very easy. And that is pretty much the charming Chinese challenge bit over. We're done with the ringleader bit. Like I say, if you're familiar with all of the moves, you'll be golden. There's a great discrepant insertion section, which sounds like something Russell Brand gets up to, and that is gorgeous. And that is sort of like the final phase where there's a good tug of the coin. You can see the ribbons going through this coin, and the participant can pull as hard as they like, and then it releases and sort of just coin just pops off. That is a great final phase. It's a tutorial, it's about half an hour long, really well taught. Julio Montoro is on it as well as Elias. Julio saw Elias do it and begged him to let him put it out because he thought the magic community really needed it. So very, very selfless of you, Julio. The only real issue I've got with it is that I would like the more charming Chinese challenge as well. So for me, it's like 2 effects in one. And if you like ring on string and you like charming Chinese challenge, you're sort of better off doing 2 separate effects as you walk around than just sort of doing the same one, if you see what I mean. And to do it with a borrowed ring for the ring on string I think is slightly nicer than just doing it with the coin. So for me, I do really like it. If I was only going to carry around 1 trick, then this would be it. But if I'm working at a gig or whatever, I would probably quite happily take my ribbon and either perform the charming Chinese challenge with it or borrow a ring and do the ring on string as traditionally I do. Obviously, it does have the advantage that everything is examinable at the start and examinable at the end, and you've got no iffy holdouts or anything to ditch, which is a big advantage and does sort of remove a little bit of magician's guilt as well. I do really like it. I'm going to learn it. And it's one of those tricks that is really good fun to learn. It's not difficult, and you're creating this illusion half the time of these coins being threaded on, certainly the last phase, which is what I like about learning Ringleader, is you're sort of creating this beautiful illusion that people cannot see no matter how hard they stay, and it creates a really nice, stunning magic. Well done, Elias. I do really like it. It is Andalusian challenge. And now the super keen eyes of you probably couldn't have failed to notice that on the front page, the new stuff of Monster Magic, I have some Henry Harrius stuff. Got a lovely delivery. Haven't been so excited about opening a box of magic for a very long time. But inside I had the classics of his, the Super Lemon, which is a terrific trick. You can check the trailer out. I might review it next week if I get a chance. And there's also, of course, the wonderful Venom Cube, which to me is still the best cube matching effect out there. I remember I was working at Prop Dog and Jason showed me Venom Cube. He performed it for me right in front of my eyes, as close as you like, and I couldn't for the life of me figure it out. I had to get him to repeat it until eventually I had sussed it out. I think it's absolutely brilliant. But I might do a full review on, perhaps I'll do a full review on lots of Rubik's Cube magic at some point in the future. But what I want to talk about now is Henry Harris's new trick with HJ, and that is Balloon Oracle. Yes, it is balloon prediction. Balloon prediction has been around for a very long time. I know Tony Corinda had a version of it, and lots of other people have come up with their versions too. It is basically, you have a balloon with a prediction inside, and you can have the balloon tossed around with the audience. You can have the audience name a number or a playing card, and when you pop the balloon inside, all along has been that playing card or that celebrity's name or whatever it might be. It is a great way to conclude a confabulation routine, and it's one of those routines that can get the whole audience involved, because essentially you can either have someone on stage just holding the balloon right from the start, but it's nice to have the balloon bounced around and different people name different parts of the card, whether it's a red card, a high card, a heart, a diamond, whatever it might be. Or if you is your confabulation routine, it bounces around and they get to name, you know, traditionally it's a holiday, isn't it? So where they go, how much money they've got to spend, and who they're going with. If you is going to do it for a confabulation routine, I warn you, you've got to come up with your own method for creating the billet. There are lots and lots of methods out there that you can research and look up. But what you get in here is amazing method for the balloon prediction. It's way over the top. It is completely unnecessary. There is absolutely no reason. I don't know. I love it. I absolutely love it. It is much like last week with the water balloon dropper. It's a James Bond gadget that is really well made, really well designed, really well thought out. And it has a lot of advantages over any of the standard, much cheaper methods. You know, for example, so Tony Corinda, I believe, just used a Sonata gimmick, and so on. What HJ wanted to do is, one of the problems is he's got this big box, but the instructions are tutorial information is printed really, really tiny on the back of this very small card, which made me go searching for my glasses, which I can absolutely never find. But other than that, it's a brilliant package. What you get in here is an index loading system, and this is part of it, is this wand, and this is possibly the most controversial part of the routine. Whether or not you want to be on stage and use this wand as the method for popping the balloon. I don't see why not. I don't mind it. I think it is genius myself. You can add a bit of comedy into it. I love a prop. An odd looking prop is far more interesting than a genuine looking one. But this is necessary for the method as well. So I kind of like the method being hidden within a joke. I think that is easily the best way of doing it. People don't think, oh, he's using that odd shaped thing for the method. They think, he just wanted an easy laugh. So I really, really like the wand. I certainly haven't got a problem with it. And it makes a lot of sense. And like I say, it's all covered nicely by a joke, and the whole audience can see it. The rest of what's in here is basically your index system, and so that means that you can have access to all of your predictions neatly laid out, and they get loaded so smoothly, so quickly. It is gorgeous to see, fun to do. You put this into your case, or you have it on your table behind whatever it might be, so when you go to pick up the wand to pop the balloon, you can instantly load it and pick it up with however you with whatever you want to predict. The routine is taught really, really well on the tutorial. The tutorial is about half an hour long, and they run through everything you need to know. You don't necessarily need to use the black balloons. I will include some black balloons with this if you, but you don't necessarily have to have the black balloon that's shown on the trailer. You can use pretty much any balloon that you are able to blow up. And HJ teaches you exactly how to make the gimmick to go inside the balloon and how to set it all up. And then the rest of it is just so much fun. The advantage of this over any of the other methods is there's no real holding out or anything else. You're always going to need an index. Perhaps you could use Dex. I don't know if you've got an idea for it. This might be one of those reasons why you've got Dex. It is just terrific, really well thought out, really, really clean, really, really well made. It's just a little over the top. The loading system is genius. I like the wand. I love the routine. I love the index system. I love how well made it is. I love how well taught it is. If I didn't know cheaper, easier ways of doing it, then I would be snapping up Balloon Oracle for sure. It is, as it stands, a good chunk of £100. It's £96.99, but it is absolutely gorgeous and brilliant. It is Balloon Oracle by HJ and Henry Harrius. And now I've got a quick question for you. So I was browsing through everything that I might get in, go back to the back catalogues and everything else like that for some exciting stuff to get in to Monster. And obviously I fell upon Tenyo, and obviously they've got the Corwinder car, which is a wonderful trick, and Mr. Danger, which is also brilliant and a brilliant method as well. I'm just wondering what you guys think of Tenyo. I'm thinking of really going quite large on Tenyo, but I'm not sure whether or not it's a magic trick that people genuinely perform. Do you use your Tenyo, or do you keep it as a collector's item? Is it something that you'd be interested in Monster stocking? Because I do really, really like their effect. I find them absolutely fascinating. But for me, they've always been more of a sort of curiosity toys. So I'm just wondering whether or not that it's worth me getting in some Tenyo. So do let me know down below in the comments. And now we have, from one of my favourite creators, David Regal, we have PUP, which stands for Particularly Useful Purse. This I found really, really interesting because I have got something that I've been developing that it looks completely different, works completely different, but it achieves roughly the same thing. And I, with David Regal, and I've preached this before, and I did a whole thing on it at Prop Dog, is that I think it's really, really important to start clean rather than end clean. We've always been a bit obsessed with ending clean and having everything on the table to let people examine at the end. What you should really be thinking of doing is making sure that all your props are, you'd hand your props out beforehand, and then you bring them in, and then you do the magic, because that way there's not a retrospective thought. So if you're doing a card trick, if you can have the deck of cards handed out and shuffled and played with before the trick begins, people can't suspect the cards. They don't think it's a gimmick deck right from the start, and they're attributing the magic and skill, and they're being more baffled and amazed than if they're thinking, he's got something going on here, or he's it's one of those special decks. So I think it's much better to start clean. And what these purses do, you get 2 of them, which is very generous. Well, I mean, until you see the price, it is $42.99, which is why you get 2. He got the black one and a brown one. They both work exactly the same way, so black and tan, I guess you want to call it. Yeah, the zip coin purses, little red interior. They are, I think they're made just fine. The leather seems nice. They just look like innocent coin purses, which is really, really what you want. Yeah, I guess the black one's for more formal, David says, and the tan one is for more casual performances. I'm not sure it makes much difference. I don't change my wallets on a daily basis, or I don't have an evening wallet and a day wallet. But anyway, let's get this out. That's the tan color. They work really, really simple. It's a very simple, practical method for switching coins into a routine, and that is really what David was trying to achieve. He was trying to have some coins tipped out of the purse, handed back, switched, and the purse goes away. And that is exactly what these do, which is great if you're going to do any a trick, even if you wanted to add a coin in. So if you're doing the coins across using a shell, or if you are just doing something like the hop in halves, these purses are a brilliant way to introduce innocent coins and switch in your gaffs. They are lovely. They are really well made. I'm not sure why you need two. David doesn't actually teach any routines using gaff coins afterwards. He doesn't really sort of go and expand as to what routines he goes into, which is a shame. It'd be nice to have one or two coin routines in it, just to really sort of demonstrate exactly how the coin purses works and fits in as well. He does teach various methods for doing the switch and for the loading of the coins, or the unloading of the coins, as it were, whether it's in your pocket, whether you're just holding out, and so on. So they are pretty versatile. I think it is one of those things that does have a use. It's a utility. If you're going to be carrying around coins anyway, and especially if you're going to carry around some gaffs, it makes a lot of sense to have a purse that introduces the gaffs as innocently as possible. A great idea. Well executed. Not sure why you need two. Might have been better just to knock the price down a bit, but there you go. That is Pup by David Regal. And finally this week we have the Deck Dropper by Trevor Duffy. I know it's been out for absolutely ages, but it is terrific. It is one of those things that absolutely almost every magician should have if they do something like the invisible deck. If you want to produce a deck of cards, this is perfect and so simple. Well, let me show you exactly what it is. This is it. It's not much bigger than a deck of cards. Obviously, apart from a bit of a flange, which is where you put the deck in nice and easily. And this basically clips in the sleeve of your jacket. So round about there. And then at any point you like, you can give it a squeeze and the deck will drop down. So that's the squeeze there. I must have a deck of cards here somewhere. So you just pop the deck in the top here. You can have it hanging in your sleeve and still load it via your sleeve, so you don't need to take it out or take your jacket off to reload or anything like that. So resetting is dead simple, and you just put a click and it will come out. So there's a little click button here. It's great. It is so simple. It is absolutely ideal. You can walk around with this in your arm for as long as you like. It's just there waiting to be used, and obviously ideally for the invisible deck, but also if you want a nice little deck switch, you can, and you're worried about having to do that two-fingered prong thing in your pocket, you can just dump it in your pocket, click your hand, and you've got another deck. So there are lots and lots of ideas. Trevor teaches it really clearly on his video, and it adds a great visual moment to the invisible deck. You know, if someone's, producing a deck of cards from thin air is a great way to start any routine. But obviously it makes a lot more sense with the invisible deck when it gets thrown back to you. But you can start any routine. I just need a deck of cards. Oh, there's one. You can do flash productions with it, anything like that. It is great, and for $27.99, like I say, it's a simple design. It's really well made. It'll last you forever. If you're worried about whether or not it's going to fit or work, if you can drop a deck of cards down your sleeve and it land in your hands, then this will work for you. It is simply a really, really good utility prop that I can highly recommend for any card magician. That is Trevor Duffy's deck dropper. Oh, that brings us to the end of the show. That's it for this week. Just to let you know that Perfect Oil and Water Pow by Eric Casey is back in stock, and so is Spin Doctor by John Bannon and various other Penguin products. And also I've got some new illusionist stuff on the website as well, which I might be reviewing next week. But sadly, that is it for this show. So please do subscribe if you've enjoyed the show. Please give it a thumbs up and please comment. I do read the comments. Every thumbs up I appreciate, and every new subscriber gets a big woo from me as I edge ever closer to the 700 mark. Please do go and have a lot of fun this week, practicing, playing and entertaining people with the best hobby in the world. Bye bye.